Hey everybody, and welcome back. Today this is part 2, and today we're going to talk about how to build your business by networking. I don't know, for some of you, you're probably a lot like me, and I don't know how many of you, were actively social media-ing before you started coaching, but for me, I really only used Facebook to, well, Facebook stalk people and to scroll through my newsfeed and see what everybody was up to. I didn't actively use Facebook even to post my own content. I posted on Facebook, but certainly not as much as I do now. So this whole idea of using social media to build your business is probably kind of a foreign concept to you. So I'm going to kind of try to put into perspective, how we build our businesses using social media. I am going to focus on Facebook because that is primarily what I use and what a lot of other people in this business use. I run all of my challenge groups on Facebook currently. All of my coaching groups are on Facebook. All of our coach training groups are on Facebook, and obviously this coach sneak peek is on Facebook. So I am primarily going to focus on using Facebook today. I have heard of other coaches using other social media platforms to build their business, but in terms of how I usually use my business, I primarily use Facebook. I do bring the occasional new follower or person I've met through Instagram over to Facebook, but primarily everything is done through Facebook. So firstly, I kind of want to talk about, how a lot of people I talk to are like, well, I don't have that many people who follow me on social media. How am I going to build my business in that way when I only, have this couple hundred people on my Facebook friends list? Well, I had this problem as well, and I have actively started to add people to my network. And the way in which I've done that, and I've had a lot of success with recently, is by joining common interest groups and connecting with people in those groups. I joined a group called No Excuse Student, and I met a number of really awesome people who are in a very similar situation to me, being students and trying to maintain this life balance while they're in school. And that's been a really, really fun way for me to connect with new people. And I've really enjoyed it. I've also in a number of entrepreneur groups, people who are trying to get out of the 9-to-5 kind of job, and connecting with people who have that similar goal of looking for a little bit more flexibility in their life and not being tied down to a desk or an office or a 9-to-5 work schedule. So that's been a fun way to connect with people. I've connected with people through people who love soccer groups. I am a soccer fiend. I wish I could still play. I have bad knees, so I can't. Photography groups, music groups. I've connected with a number of new people that way, and it is a really good way to build your contact list if it's something that you think is going to be a hindrance. And then in terms of, reaching out to people on Facebook, I do a lot of messaging. As I mentioned, a lot of what I've been doing is connecting with those new prospects, but also reconnecting with, old friends from high school, old friends from elementary school, people from college, family that maybe I've gotten out of touch with. I'm Italian, so we have a really, really big extended family, and it's really hard to keep in touch with all of them. So I'll message people and I'll reach out to them, see how it's going. I have family, my closest family since I live here in Michigan is in Wisconsin, and I reach out to them on occasion just to see how things are going. They have their oldest daughter is just started college. She's actually maybe been in college for about a year, and she's at UCLA. So I kind of reach out to I think their mom is like my second cousin. See, I can't even keep track of how I'm related to these people. But I reach out to them and kind of see how it's going. And, is it still weird that Natalie's off in California going to school? So I'll just reach out to them and see what's up. And that's a good way to reconnect with people and build those relationships with people. And maybe they won't eventually join a group, maybe they will. It doesn't matter. It's all about just reaching out to people and building that relationship with them, no matter how you initially met them. I'll also, I do social media posts to advertise, if you will, for groups I have coming up. And, for some people, they like starting off with a free group to kind of introduce people in their market to what they're doing and how these groups work. So a lot of people will run clean eating groups. I've run a personal development focused group before, and those are just free groups to introduce people to what this whole Facebook group, accountability group thing is like. And that's a good lead-in to eventually having people join a full-on fitness group, those challenge groups. So for the challenge group, people who join the challenge group will have bought your challenge pack, and that includes your fitness program, your nutrition guide, your Shakeology, and that's such a great deal. Like, that's so much better than having to pay for your gym membership or your personal trainer per hour or whatever. But though that's a good lead in and a good way to get people connected to your challenge groups, is to run a free group first and then to run your challenge groups later. And then, as I mentioned, we do those posts to advertise the groups that we're running. And I would like to emphasize right now, that we're not salespeople. So you will very rarely see a Beachbody coach post a stock photo of, come buy Pio, it's on sale for $59. And yeah, usually what we're posting is a more personal story about what we're doing and why we're doing it. When I was doing Body Beast, I know I posted once about the fact that I used to think that I could never build my arm muscle. But I realized doing Body Beast that I actually really can have very strong shoulders and arms, and it was such a weird realization for me, being a soccer player and thinking that I would only ever have lower body strength. So, I shared that story, and it was related to a program. I'll share about, my experience with Shakeology. I am often running out the door to catch the bus in the morning. So having Shakeology and the fact that it only takes about a minute to prepare is really, really nice and fits my life very well. So I'll share that. Pio, I'm doing Pio right now, and I'm doing Pio because I really, really, really needed to recover from all of the punishment I put my body through over the last few months. I've been doing, which I kind of now regret, doing Body Beast and half marathon training. And now that I'm done doing my half marathon training, I really just wanted to give my body a break and work on flexibility, since I've been dealing with a lot of muscle tightness and muscle strains lately. So for me, flexibility has always been an issue, and I do tend to overtrain and beat myself up. So Pio for me is a great option, because I get that good workout in, but I'm not beating myself up while I do it. So I'll share that story, and that's a story I've shared before. So that's kind of how we'll, build our business and share on social media about these programs, to kind of invite people to check out what we're doing. It's just by sharing these stories, sharing our experiences with these programs and with these products. So it doesn't stop when somebody buys a product. Once somebody buys a product from you, you don't want to just be like, cool, thanks, peace. Your job as a coach is to plug them into these groups and help them work through it. I actually really, really hesitate to have somebody buy a challenge pack or a program and not plug them into one of my groups, because I personally know how much the accountability really helps, especially when you're new to building this kind of lifestyle. That accountability is so important, to know that there's somebody there for you to make sure you're getting stuff done every day. And but even then, you are a coach, and you don't want to just continue plugging somebody into your groups just because it makes you look good and you like having the high numbers of people in groups. And I have actually asked people who have done, maybe 4 back-to-back groups with me. I'm just kind of like, hey, you're doing great in these groups, but I want to make sure that you have built routines and a lifestyle that is sustainable and manageable for you, and that you can maintain on your own. If people seem like maybe they're using these groups as a crutch, I ask them to maybe take a month off of doing a challenge group with me, so that they can see how this lifestyle fits without me there checking in on them every day, to make sure that this lifestyle is sustainable for them. And in my opinion, that's also part of being a coach, and part of your responsibility in doing this is making sure that the people you're coaching, your customers and your coaches, aren't using these groups as a crutch, and that they've maintained habits that allow them to continue this lifestyle outside of these challenge groups. And it's been fantastic. I've started doing that the last couple months, and I've realized that I do have some people who have been using these groups as crutches, and as soon as they leave the group, they find it really challenging to maintain their lifestyle. And I think not only does that speak for accountability, but it speaks for how important it is to have a community of people around you that are going to support you. And I've also had other coaches who found that maintaining the healthy eating is very easy for them outside of the group, but what they ultimately find that they struggle with is maintaining personal development and maintaining improving themselves emotionally and mentally. And so they'll plug themselves back into the group to build that aspect. And it's really valuable to plug people into these groups and to help them figure out their strengths and weaknesses in these groups. And as a coach, I know I've talked a lot about running groups, I've talked a lot about messaging, posting, reaching out to people. If this is something that you're not experienced doing, sorry, this video is getting kind of long, but if it's not something you're experienced doing, again, we provide training to help you get used to doing these activities. There's actually a book that I recommend to like 90% of my coaches that are coming in and really want to start building this business, to help them get used to talking and messaging and reaching out to people, and it becomes very routine, and you can start to get used to the patterns that these different interactions will fall into. And I'm not saying in any way that the way you're going to approach people that you talk to is formulaic, because it's not. Each interaction is different, and each person needs help with different things, but you can be trained so that you're much more used to and okay with these interactions and talking to people about the products without feeling salesy, because we're not selling here. This is about building a relationship, finding something that's going to work for that person that you're talking to, and if there isn't something that works, that's fine too. You can still help them in other ways. And again, you'll get training in all of this, and you'll see how to do all of these things as you get plugged into these groups and these trainings. So I hope that kind of makes sense. It's a lot about sharing and messaging and inviting people and running these groups and really finding the best situation for your customers and your challengers so that they are making improvements in their life. I hope that kind of answered some questions about how we go about building our business and sharing and networking. And if you have any questions, I think I hit all of my points here. If you have any questions, feel free to post them below in the comment section, and I would be happy to answer, and the other coaches will jump in there as well. Have a good rest of your day, and I will talk to you later. Bye.